Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video with Mustang Aoife, Mustang 8640, that is doing incredible with her taming and gentling, and we're going to start to do some obstacles in this particular video. First up, I'm just going to show you how she is for catching out in the field. So it's super adorable because she sees me and then she usually comes all the way over to me. This time when I got my camera out to film, I don't know if it's because I looked a little different getting my camera out, but she just kind of paused with her friends and they're all staring at me. But this is really adorable because she's hanging out and then you'll notice that she leaves her friends to come over and say hi. So at first it kind of looks like maybe the little fjord pony would come over, but doesn't. And she kind of does a moment where she's like, oh, should I go with my friends or should I go see my person? She has a little moment of thinking about her options here. And I'm mostly just kind of standing there calling her name. Of course, there is a whole bunch of grass there and everything that she was enjoying, and she's got her little friends and things are going pretty well. And she just kind of looks at me and takes a little moment to think about things, and then she'll start to move over to me. And usually she's not quite so slow to come over to me. Normally she starts walking as soon as she sees me. Sometimes she'll even nicker at me. But of course, go figure, the time that I get my camera out to film her in the process, she doesn't really do any of those cute things that she typically does. Instead, it's kind of different because her friends are like, hey, we could go over this way and go to the grass. And they start to leave, where she's like, okay, I'll come over and see you, Lindsay. I'll come on over. But it's nice, though, that we have that level of connection where she'll walk away from her friend, she'll walk away from the grass, and she'll come over and greet me. So all of that's going really well, that level of connection and trust between each other, that it's time to start on the obstacle training. So this is a lot of fun because this is building trust and confidence together. And of course, I start with, easier tasks and then we progress. And this was probably one of the easiest trainings for crossing a Liverpool or tarp that I've done with a Mustang, because it was pretty simple of she sees me and she just follows me over, and you can see the first time she went a little bit quickly, but the second time she's pretty fast there to just start walking over. And she gets her little snacks after she goes over, because I want to make sure that as she does things, I'm conditioning my horse to have this idea of I ask, you try, and then I reward. These different obstacles were set up because we had some other things going on. Somebody else had a lot of this stuff out, and I thought, well, it's out here. I may as well make the most use of it and try some of this stuff with her, because why not? Let's get started on some of this building trust and confidence together with other weird things, like even how she can stand inside the Liverpool there, not feeling trapped or feeling like she can leave. Like, that's a really great start to the whole training process for this piece. And this is going to help with trailer loading or being more comfortable in different stalls or options. And of course, I'm prepping her for getting her teeth done by the vet. And so all of these things that we ask horses to do, if they're a little unusual, different, not typical, we're building the horse's confidence in our ability to ask for new things and for our horse to follow through. And it's like, yeah, you're safe. You're okay. You can do this. So it's not just because it's neat to ask your horse to walk over a Liverpool, or here I'm going to ask her to walk over the mattress. It's because as she does these things, she starts to realize, oh, okay, Lindsay can ask me to do these things, and it's actually okay. Not going to get hurt in this process. So the mattress, she was like, I don't know about that. That looks a little bit dicey. It looks a little bit squishy. Looks a little bit different. And mattresses are a great kind of next level of difficulty because they add that squishy element, which is more challenging. Sometimes they have a little bit of a crinkle effect too, but generally they're pretty safe because they're not something that's going to hurt them. They're not super big or tall or anything like that. So they can step on it and they don't tend to get wrapped up in it or something like that. And this is super cute to see how she works through this. So she takes one little step. I give her a little bite of her snacks, which is actually her dinner. And then she takes another step and I give her another little bite of her snacks. And I just love how calm she is through that whole process, though. And then when it gets to her back legs, she barely goes a little bit faster. Like, it's not a huge thing. She just went a little bit faster. So I went back and forth a couple of times, and then here's kind of show you a little progression there. She's like, oh, I can just walk around it. And I just back her up to reposition her, to ask her to try again. It's important to follow through on the things that I ask her to do. So she realizes, like, yeah, I asked you to do that thing, and it is a safe and reasonable task that I asked you to do. So please try that task. And then that way we develop a bigger sense of safety between each other. She feels safe with the things I ask her to do. And also, I feel safer being around her. It lets us do a little bit more things together. We have more options of things we can do. So, for example, when we get to the part where we're riding, it's important that she doesn't think that she can just randomly decide to change direction or go gallop in the wrong direction. It's important that she understands to follow my lead and the things that I request her to do, to take them a little bit more seriously. Of course, there's some flexibility for her to express herself and show me what she likes and doesn't like. And it's definitely a kind of an artsy balance of figuring out what to offer and be partners in, but also make sure that at the end of the day, I can be the leader and keep us safe. So that way, when we are in dangerous situations or different type of situations where somebody could get hurt, that I have the ability to hopefully keep us both safe. That's the plan. I love though how, like, see how she kind of crawled through that curtain. She does so in such kind of a thoughtful way. Like, she didn't want to go through it. She crawled through it, but she didn't bolt past it. So some horses that get really upset or really scared, they'll literally kind of bolt or run or go way too fast through the object to the point where they're not really thinking clearly. Here I'm going to show you, we spent a fair bit of time waiting for her to decide to hopefully try going through the curtain this particular way. Could be because when she went the other way, she did kind of crawl down. She was like, oh, like, this is really hard. And now I'm asking her to do it again. And she's like, but it was really hard. So it took a little bit of patient persistence to ask her to try. And then eventually when she does try, she kind of tucks her bum as she goes under. But look how slow and careful she did that. And I love that about her because every horse gets to show you how they think, how they process, how they work. And when we're doing obstacles and different things like this, I'm having those moments that are a little bit harder, where they're a little bit like, what are we doing? And I get to see, how does the horse respond to that? And then that lets me see, what kind of person does this horse need, or what kind of rider does this horse need? Because some horses, when they touch something that they're really scared of, they jump a fair bit. Like, they might scoot up a little bit, or they might run forward, because that's their more natural response of how they do things. Whereas Aoife tends to be really thoughtful. She thinks, she goes slow, she goes careful. And I think in general, like, it makes me feel pretty confident about getting her started for riding. Not that we're ready to do riding just yet. I'm just saying, when we get ready to do the riding part, I have a feeling that if she's worried, she's probably just going to stop or be really thoughtful about that. I don't think that she's going to be the type of horse that tends to bolt or run off on people, because she just seems to, even when she's worried, slow down, stop, think her way through. And she settles pretty quickly, pretty easily. And I've trained a whole bunch of Mustangs in the past. And of course, I make progress with them and we get over the different obstacles and things are going really well. But some of those Mustangs haven't been as slow and fluid the way they process and get through the obstacles. And with her, I'm loving seeing just how smoothly she works through things and how she really is doing a great job at avoiding those natural Mustang instincts of wanting to run through something and get really, really flighty. So I'm really impressed with how she's doing. The training's going very, very smoothly. And I left in enough of these no moments so you could see, like, it's not perfect all the time. Like, although she tries really well and she stays calm and thinking really well, there's definitely those moments where she tries to go around the side of the obstacle, where she kind of says, do I really have to do this? And you can see she really squatted her bum down there a fair bit on that particular time going through the curtain. So she did it slowly, and it didn't take a whole lot to get her to go through. But when she squats down like that, it's a little bit of her saying, like, oh, this is hard. Like, this is uncomfortable. She's not fully 100% like confident with this task. And you can see she does a lot better there going through. She didn't crouch down as much. So definitely making progress. And I'm just going back and forth a few times, just kind of giving her the chance to realize they really aren't hurting her. Let them touch her a little bit, because every time she goes through, she seems to get a little bit more confident each time, which is really important, that she gets to go through, feel them, everything's okay. So as we're doing all of these things, it really makes me feel better too about having the vet come out to do her teeth, because she's staying slow and thinking, which means she'll be more open to receiving some different type of care and having her mouth looked at. So stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.